start. Hi everyone, I'm Alexander Smith, the host of alexandra.com, and welcome to Capture live show number 8. Our today live show is not is a little bit different from some previous live shows. First of all, the biggest difference is that today is a Thursday, and usually we were making live shows on Tuesdays. That's okay. Sometimes my shooting schedule is changing. That's why, well, sometimes live show will happen in one time, in one day, and maybe next time on another day. That's pretty fine. I will try to announce it a little bit earlier, because like today I posted the announce only maybe like few hours ago. That's why I see less people online than usually, but well, okay, that just happens. Today we will talk about color management in Capture One, because I have lots of questions from you about color editing in Capture One. But before we will proceed to color editor, to color balance, and other fantastic tools to work with color, I think first of all we shall just handle the general color management features of Capture One, because without it, well, I'm not sure that you would be able to see and to process the colors you would like to work with. That's why it's a really important thing. And before we will start, and before we will talk about Capture One, let's make some announcements. First of all, if you're planning to purchase Capture One or upgrade your Capture One license, or you're an owner of Sony camera and you're enjoying Capture One Sony version, for example Express version, and you're thinking of upgrading to Pro version, you can just use this code AMBC1blog to save 10% on Capture One license. I think that's a pretty awesome deal, because, well, 28 euros, that's nice. Also, today and in many others, my videos, I'm showing some styles. And in my work, I'm using onestyles.pro film styles. You can just type onestyles.pro/try. And here you can download 12 styles absolutely for free. We're not charging you for this or not asking for your credit card or something like that. Just download them, work with them, use them in your commercial work. It's pretty fine. And then if you would enjoy them, you can purchase the whole sets. Another significant update, really important news actually. The point is that if you are familiar with my alexandra.com newsletter, then today you shall receive a new email. The point is that recently I decided to completely reboot my newsletter. The point is that previously of this new newsletter, it was containing only, like links to some Capture One resources and maybe some new videos about Capture One. But in general, well, it was pretty generic thing, just like, well, there were some interesting news, there were some interesting videos, it was pretty useful, but I just decided that I wish to develop something different, and I wish to develop a special club, a club of like-minded people who are passionate about raw editing in Capture One, and that's why I'm rebooting my newsletter. And here is the first email from this newsletter. In the upgraded newsletter, you will find lots of unique information about Capture One. For example, in the first issue of the new newsletter, I'm writing about one of my favorite Capture One photographers, Martin Bailey. For example, I'm giving links to his article about creating custom color profiles for in Capture One. Today we will talk about color, and I think these two articles would be pretty useful for you. You can just go there and here you will find an article and blog post, and also great videos about creating custom color profiles in Capture One. That's a pretty rare information, and I highly recommend you to inspect his blog much closer. Also, in the new updated newsletter, I will post tip of the week. Each week there will be a short tip which I regularly use in my own work. And tip of this week, this is the tip from my last live show about holding the shift key and zooming and synchronizing of zoom of selected images. That's a pretty useful tip. As I understood from your comments, lots of you were not familiar with this, and that's why I decided to put it as tip of the week in my updated newsletter. And the last thing, and maybe one of the most important things, is that now with each new email, you would receive a free raw file from my archive, which you could use just to practice your skills in raw editing in Capture One. You can also post your results on your Twitter or Facebook. Don't forget to tag me. This is how I would be able to give you some comments on your editing or maybe share your results. And also you will see my version of this editing in the next live show. That's why if you wish to join this newsletter, just go to alexonro.com, and here you can find. Okay, actually the easiest way, just go to alexonro.com/newsletter, and here you can subscribe to my newsletter. It's absolutely free. I'm not charging anything for running this newsletter. That's why. Well, feel free to share. And also, I will share the links in chats if you wish to subscribe right now. Let me post the links. Yeah, the first link is going to YouTube chat, and the second link to my Facebook Live translation. Yeah, by the way, I see lots of people on Facebook. Edward is asking on Facebook, is it just me or there is no audio? Well, please let me know if there is some issue with audio. I hope everything shall be okay. Yeah, Brent is also writing, good call to cover color management first. If it isn't right from the beginning, you're editing blind. Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's why today we will talk about this. Yeah, Florian is writing audio. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's why if you wish to receive each week an email with pretty personal information from me, like I don't want to run some newsletter with some just news or something like that. No, I just wish to share with you some of my thoughts on raw editing. And not only on raw editing, actually, for example, I'm also highly interested in mobile photography, smartphone photography. I think there are lots of great features which lots of photographers are not familiar with. That's why sometimes maybe I would add some like additional information, but in general this newsletter will be about Capture One, of course. That's why subscribe, it's free, just join the club. Okay, I think it's time to talk about our today's topic. When we're talking about color management in Capture One, first of all, it's really important to understand what is happening with your raw file when you are opening it in Capture One. The point is that the raw file, you can imagine the raw file as like a ball full of information. And for example, when you're viewing your JPEG file, you're seeing just a thin slice of this giant ball of information. And this information, well, it's actually it's not just an open information. Somehow all the raw converters, they shall somehow translate them, because Nikon, Canon, and other camera manufacturers, they just don't provide the information on how to like encode, how to translate this raw information into something what you can see. And the way Capture One works is that Phase 1 developers of Capture One, they have a special laboratory. I was visiting it a few times. It's an amazing place. Seriously, it's just like it's a dream for a guy or anybody. If you're passionate on working with color, it's just like a place from your dreams, because there are lots of special stuff, special targets for color calibrations, and lots of amazing things. And all this stuff is required to produce absolutely correct color profiles for your cameras. And using these profiles, Capture One is like translating your raw data into something visible, for example, as I can see right now. That's why the first thing which we shall discuss is color profile, which applies to your images on the first step when you're just opening your raw file. To see this, you should go to the base characteristics tool. And here you will find this option, ICC profile. There are lots of different profiles for different cameras. For example, for Nikon, there are lots of profiles. For Sony cameras, there are lots of different profiles. For some cameras, especially some professional cameras, there are even few profiles for one camera. For example, for this Nikon D3 camera, there are 2 profiles. You might see 5 profiles, but 3 of them they're just my custom profiles, and 2 generic and generic version 2. This is profiles developed by Phase 1. And as you can see, when I'm switching between them, the color is pretty different, and that's the feature. If you see that there is something wrong with your colors, for example, when I was taking an image of this flower, well, I'm pretty sure that this flower shall look like this, but not like that. That's why when I tried this generic version 2 profile, I just immediately realized that there is something wrong with color. And I just tried the previous version of color profile, and now everything is fine. That's why if you see that something looks unnatural on your image, you shall just try to apply some different color profile, especially that might work pretty well with Sony cameras, because for lots of Sony cameras, for example A7 Mark II, there are few color profiles usually two: generic and standard. The point is that generic profile, it's a profile created by phase one, but standard color profile is ACC profile not created, but like provided or something like that. I can't share lots of details here because I'm not so deep into this thing, but this profile is much closer to how Sony thinks the colors shall be interpreted on your images. So that's why in lots of the cases standard color profile would be better for Sony cameras than generic color profile, but well, it depends. It depends on some particular conditions. Anyway, this is really important step. First of all, you shall use like the correct color profile for your image. You can also choose your curve, basic curve, but this things is more about, well, brightness of your image than color. Of course, it would affect color as well, but in general, it's more about brightness of your image. That's why we will discuss it in one of the next live shows. If we're talking about the color, the most important thing is to select the right ICC profile. Now, when you have opened your image and you selected the ICC color profile, there is a great question. Which color profile Capture One is using to show you the image? Because, well, that's a pretty tricky thing, because the internal color system of Capture One, it's pretty complicated thing, and it is designed to work with different color profiles, with really different colors, and to provide great results. But all these magical things, they're happening under the hood of Capture One, and somehow software shall be able to show you this, the results of this. And this is the second really important and really significant step. You shall go to View, Proof Profile. On this step, you're choosing with which color profile you will see your images during the editing. By default, the option selected recipe is selected, but also you can manually choose any other color profile from the huge list. Capture One is using your system color profile, so that's why if you will copy some specific color profile from, for example, from your from your photo laboratory or something like that, or from your printing service, like from anything else, if you will import this ICC color profile into your system, into your system folder, you will immediately see this color profile in Capture One as well. What I can recommend here, first of all, I highly recommend you to leave this option selected, I mean selected recipe option. The point is that in most of the cases that would be the best option for you. When this option is selected, Capture One is showing you an image with the color profile selected in your processing settings. For example, for this recipe, I'm using sRGB color profile because it's for pretty general use. But for processing into PSD format, I'm using Adobe RGB or Profoto RGB, and that's why if, for example, right now I'm viewing images in sRGB, and right now in Adobe RGB. And you might have a question that, like, in live translation, well, the difference might be not so serious, but actually it is. Let's open some other image, maybe just to see this, okay, to see this better. Or we can just switch a profile. Let's choose something specific. For example, CMYK, like this, or maybe even like this. Now you can see that the difference is pretty noticeable, and the difference will be much more noticeable if we would select some, let's say, phase 1 grayscale profile. Like, well, you immediately see that, well, the difference is absolutely huge. The point is that for most of the cases, when you are working with your images, it's better to see the image with the same color as you plan to process it in the final format. For example, if I'm preparing image for like web usage, or maybe for just some pretty like general use, not something special, I think it's simply better to use sRGB color profile, because it's really really universal color profile. It provides stable quality of your, not only quality, but it's a really common profile. Most of devices, most of web services, most of different software would support this color profile. That's why I think it's just the best idea for the general use to use sRGB color space profile. But you can also, if you're, for example, preparing images for some specific correction in Photoshop after the processing in Capture One, or if you're, for example, doing some really important work for huge prints, or for magazines or something like that, well, in this case, you shall think about Adobe RGB or Prophoto RGB. In general, I suggest Prophoto RGB. This format has some specifics. You shall just Google about this, because, well, it's pretty big topic. But in general, just keep in mind that for all the simple tasks, use sRGB. For some specific tasks, Adobe RGB or Prophoto RGB. I think that would give you that would solve like most of your problems with color. But just keep in mind that proof profile shall be selected recipe, or if you will select any other profile, just keep in mind that you have changed this option. For example, if you will set Adobe RGB, just keep in mind that now you're viewing your image with Adobe color profile. And if you will, for example, if you will try to prepare your image for like posting on web, and you will decide to use sRGB color profile, well, in this case you might have some issues with color. Your final image will be different from the image you were editing. That would be an issue. That's why the first step, the correct ICC profile for your camera. The second step, we're selecting view, proof profile, selected recipe, and here we're selecting sRGB or Adobe RGB or Prophoto RGB for different cases. We shall just choose the right option. And the next step, after we will handle the stuff, go to preferences into the color section, and please leave this option. Just make sure that you have this option selected in color settings. It's a default setting. That's why you can just like set defaults. The point is that Capture One is, like, lots of photographers, they are thinking that, well, Capture One is something, well, it's just like software for image editing, but actually Capture One, it has some very specific usage for different rare tasks. For example, Phase One they're producing not only fantastic digital backs and medium format cameras, they are also producing special cameras for example, archive photography. Like for working in museums or for making reproductions of images. Well, for these specific tasks, you might need to select different rendering, and if you know what you are doing, if you're understanding this, that's why you might change the rendering intent here. But in general, well, I highly recommend you to leave the default settings here, because sometimes people are writing me and they're asking, like, what is happening with my color? And I'm just starting to asking them, like, okay, do you have a proper ICC profile here? Do you have proper proof profile here? And they're answering like, yeah, everything is okay, everything is fine. And then, like, step by step, question after the question, we just realizing that they have issue with the general preferences of color in Capture One. And also there is another misunderstanding. You shall never ever select your display profile in the settings. I mean, like, some people, they're thinking that, like, okay, proof profile, that might be a good idea to set my, like, display monitor profile as proof profile. No, that's a bad idea. Never do this. What you could do is, for example, when you're preparing your images for printing and you have specific printer profile or printing machine profile, and you can just, like, install this profile into your system folder and choose this profile for just viewing images, how they might appear during the editing. For example, this is from the one of the printing machines I'm using, and as you can see, the image is a little bit different from what we have seen before. Okay, that's the really basic things, talking about the general understanding of working with color. Now let's talk about a little bit more advanced things. Let me see, maybe you have some questions here. Yeah, I don't see new questions. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see new questions. That's okay. Let's talk now. Let's talk about the situation when you have some problems with your color profile. For example, you are not satisfied with built-in color profile for your camera. For example, you have opened your image and you're looking at this image and you're thinking that, well, this looks pretty nice, especially with the film standard curve, but maybe I think the green color shall be different, or something like that. Or maybe not the green color, maybe, especially usually we're noticing the difference, the problems with color profiles when we're talking about portraits, because there is a pretty simple reason for this. Each day people are seeing hundreds of other people, and that's why our eyes, they're just trained to see a little details in skin colors people around us, and that's why if we see something unnatural on the image, we immediately notice that immediately. And that's why let's open some portrait image here. Maybe let's check another one folder. Yeah, for example, like this. Yeah, you have opened your image, and for some reason you might be not satisfied with colors here. I'm pretty okay with colors here, and in general I'm pretty I don't have any issues with colors in Capture One. Any issues with color profiles in Capture One. That's why, well, but if you have, then what you can do there, you can go to color editor and you can select basic mode or advanced mode. This is not important. Then just select the color you are looking for. For example, this skin color, and change it as you wish. Like this, yeah. Like, for example, you are pretty sure that this particular skin tone is much more natural than the original one. That's why just correct this color, save as ICC profile. Let's call it Nikon D3 live show. You know, it's just like a mark for me that, like, the next time when I would try I would try different color profiles, I would not seriously try this color profile because, well, it's just the test. And what is the feature of this? The feature of this is that now you can select this live show color profile, and your colors, they would be different starting from the beginning of the working with file. As you can see, what I have done right now is that I have changed the color profile. That means that I'm not just made some corrections to color editor and save them as style or something like that. As you can see, there is no corrections on color editor, and at the same time I have different color, and that's a pretty important thing to notice. And that's why if I wish to just to have such a colors on my images, that's pretty awesome. For example, I can choose this color profile for different images as well. But here the difference is not so noticeable, but, well, a little bit is noticeable. Let's maybe check this portrait. Yeah, you see that now my skin tone is much more, has some slight green tone. That's okay. Maybe, I'm not sure. I mean, like, it's just a test. Maybe if you prefer this greenish skin tone, that's okay. Anyway, you can change your camera profiles by your taste. And also, as I told you in the beginning of our show, I told you about this article from Martin Bailey. He's describing the way of creating technically correct. He's describing the methods of creating really correct color profiles, custom color profiles. Because what I have just showed you right now is just, well, it's just the manual correction of your color profile. That's pretty, well, you know, like, some professionals might laugh at that, because, like, professionals are not doing this that way. They're creating, like, they're buying some special stuff, some special gear, this color targets, and they're creating color profiles from theirs. And that's why if you wish to create your color profile as a professional, just go to this article from Martin Bailey. But if you wish just to correct your color profile a little bit, well, I think that would be a pretty nice way to do this. Yeah, I see the question on YouTube. Can you please repeat how you how you saved the color profile? That's pretty easy. You're just making using Colorator to make some changes like this, like that. Then you're clicking on this three dots icon here. Save as ICC profile. By the way, there is another fantastic feature available, create masked layer from selection. That's a fantastic thing, which we will closely discuss in one of the next episodes of the show. Okay, what I have next? Another important thing, it is not about the basic color editing or something like that, but it's just really interesting things. It's color readouts. If you will go there and hold your left mouse button, you will see a special menu where you will find two options: add color readout and delete color readout. Color readouts, that's a pretty useful thing. As you are moving your cursor over the image, you might see some numbers right here. You see, I'm moving my cursor and the numbers are different. And well, actually these numbers are pretty useful. But also, if you don't want always, to look at this place, or if you wish to remember some specific areas which you wish to fix, you can just choose Add Color Readout and place your readout here and there and there. What you can do with these numbers? Well, that's a good question. First of all, I totally disagree with people who are thinking that you can create an amazing color correction for non-technical image using only numbers. There are there's a specific type of photographers who are just like, okay, I'm working with numbers. You see, there is a right amount of red color, green color, blue color, and the right value of brightness. I have just created the Marvel piece of artwork in photography or something like that. Actually, it doesn't work this way. The point is that color correction by using numbers, that's a pretty useful thing for technical photographers who are, for example, creating some advertises or something like that. But in general, you shall use these numbers just to check, is everything okay with your image in general or not. For example, when I am working with images like this, for example, I can set the color readouts on skin of my model, and well, it's pretty difficult. I think it's pretty difficult to find out, like, is your skin tone color looks good or not. Well, it's a really subjective thing. I don't believe that any numbers might give you some clue here, but what you can see there is, for example, this level of brightness. Like for this part of the image, it's 176, and for this one it's 185, and that's a pretty nice information. What I can say is that from my experience, for most of for white people, the best solution would be to use, like, for example, for this area of the skin, I would suggest to use levels of brightness, values of brightness something like 180 or 190, like something like this, around this. You know, you shouldn't rely on these numbers 100%. Just keep in mind that, for example, when you're editing your image and you have some pictures there, just like you're editing them. Yeah, but here is there is a shadow on the face. That's why we shall just keep this in mind. That's why the numbers would be a little bit lower. But well, okay, here you will see the more correct stuff. Like this, you see the image is obviously dark. Like it's just obvious. If we will set film standard curve, we will see the image much better. And as you can see, the value of brightness is closer to 180. Let's do the 182 or maybe 180. Yeah, like this. Maybe in this particular case 175 would be even better, but in general you just keep in mind that, for example, when you see something like 100 on your skin tone for brightness, well, that's in most of the cases that would be not okay for white people. Sorry that I can't share with you some tricks for different editing of different people, because the point is that I'm living in Moscow, Russia, and that's why most of my clients, they're just white people, because, well, in Russia we have mostly white people around. It's just, well, that's why I don't have much experience with color correction of other people, but I hope that I would gain some of this experience, of such an experience, pretty soon, because I'm planning some interesting photo sessions which we will discuss in one of the future live shows. Okay, what we can what I can also tell you about this. The point is that the RGB numbers are not the only one option, and not the best option for checking the color. First of all, you can change your proof profile to any other color space, and for example CMYK, sorry, you will see the numbers in a different format. But also you can use lab readouts. Lab, LAB, I think it's more correct pronunciation. LAB is pretty interesting thing. The feature of LAB is that it provides you and like numbers of colors much closer to the things, to how people are seeing colors, because RGB and other systems, color systems, they are designed for like for more just like technical use, for use in some devices or something like that. And LAB numbers, they are more about how we are seeing color, how people are seeing color. That's why in Capture One, starting from Capture One 11, you can turn on lab readouts, and there are a few different options. I will not describe all of them right now. I can just say that If you're preparing your image for working with Adobe RGB, use Adobe generic LEB profile, and if you're preparing your image for sRGB, it's better to use Adobe neutral LEB profile. And as you can see, you will see different numbers. Let's see. Yeah. The feature of LAB is that you can better understand how your image looks pretty natural or not. Of course, if we're talking about like skin tone, well, there are lots of variants, you know, because like all people are different. Some have like more yellow skin tone, some have more reddish skin tone, red skin tone, some of them has like green skin tone. All the people are really different, and that's why I don't think that there are some like universal options for this. But what you can do, you can Google or just use some of your favorite saved images from other photographers, which you might find on internet. Just go to some resource, find some great portraits which you're really enjoying, and you can just analyze these images and analyze the numbers of these images, and maybe that would give you like the better idea. Maybe in one of my future live shows, I don't think that it will be pretty soon, but maybe some of episodes will be dedicated to LAB correction more detailing, because well, it's just pretty different topic. It's pretty difficult topic to explain, and I just need a little bit more experience in running live streams, just in English, just to explain you these features better. But I think we will cover this topic in the future. Let me see what I have with questions. Jason is writing, "Hi Alex, I love your shows and look forward to many more in the future." Great, thank you very much, Jason. What we have else? Okay, and on YouTube. Okay, let's continue. And I think the last thing, talking about the general color management, the last thing is output profiling. The point is that starting from, I think, Capture 110, yeah, Capture 110, starting from Capture 110, developers added pretty amazing thing called output proofing or recipe proofing. There are like different naming for this tool, but the icon is like this glass icon. When you're turning it on, you see the image with all the settings from your process recipe, and that's a pretty important moment. So the point is that when you're turning on this feature, the settings selected in proof profile, they are just disabled. That's why just keep in mind that if you're using this tool, this output proofing feature, you will see the color which is selected in your recipe, and that might be different from the settings which you have selected in your proof profile. This proofing feature is always like more important in the software. It has just like, it just works like higher priority in the software. But anyway, this output proofing feature is absolutely fantastic. For example, if you wish to see how your image would look with any color profile, or how it would look with some specific quality, or with some specific sharpening or anything else, you might use this option. It's a really great thing. Okay, I think we have some more time. You might ask some questions. Leonard C is writing your tutorials on your website are really helpful. Thank you very much. For me, it's really important. But I also wish to tell you about the color. Let me think. We will cover some other tools like color balance. I think we will have like the additional show for color balance, color editor, and maybe white balance. Well, not sure about the white balance. It's pretty simple tool. But yeah, we will have lots of shows in the future. Okay, what you can do right now. First of all, you can ask me some questions, I will answer them, but also you can go to my newsletter. Let me post you this new newsletter. I will just post it to the chats. Wait a second. You can write a question if you have one while I'm doing this. I'm just looking for the correct link to my actual newsletter, not the subscription page, but to the actual issue of this newsletter. Yeah, I have found it. Yeah, I'm posting this link to YouTube chat and to the Facebook comments as well. You can go there. It looks like, let me see where it is. It should be something there. Yeah, just scroll down. Download the raw file. You will go to this page. You can download it absolutely for free. Do something with this. Make some editing. I suggest you to complicate the task using only, for example, curves and layers, and that's it. Like that's all. Like only curves and layers. Try something to do with this image and post it. Post it on Twitter, on Facebook, or maybe some other resource. Then use some hashtag like Alex on Raw, for example. That's pretty nice hashtag. And I'm just really curious what you are able to do with this image. Okay, let's see. Dwayne is asking, can you color profile to a specific printer? Well, in Capture One you can like if we're talking about the best practices for printing from Capture One, what I can say here, like first of all, I suggest you to turn on this proof margin mode. It's here. Then go to preferences, go to appearance, choose the white background here, and that just would give you the better understanding of what you're actually seeing. We're talking in the way of printing. And now go to View, Proof Profile, and here you shall select the profile of your printer. For example, in my case, I will select this printing machine profile, and now you can just work with this. What also I can suggest you for printing is that when you're preparing your image for printing, Let's turn off the LAB readouts. I highly recommend you to be very accurate with bright areas and dark areas of your images. For example, let's set some specific readouts here and here and there. Okay, and as we can see, there is a little bit issue here. The point is that here we have actually just the real white color, 255, and that might be an issue when you will print this image, because the paint on your print might just be a little bit well, there might be a problem with printing this stuff. And also, as you can see here, we have only 6 in brightness. That's also not the best option. It's not the bad thing, but it's better when it's, for example, 10 or at least 9 or something like that. That's why when you're preparing your images for prints, just like, for example, make some correction like this. Or if you are not able to add some additional high dynamic range correction, or somehow to affect your to use your other images to correct your image, just fix the dark parts of your image with output levels like this, for example 5, and output white point to 245. That would give you the better option for high quality printing. But in general, well, printing is just the big topic. But yes, you can, talking about your question, you can use the specific printer profile from your printer. If you will put this profile into your system folder with profiles, and this way Capture would be able to use this profile for proofing. Let me see which other questions there are. David is asking, can I use the color editor feature saved ICC profile as a way of duplicating the profile that I have applied in another program such as Lightroom using the color checker? Ooh, well, in general, I think that it is possible, but the result would be not really accurate. You can go to, let me check, there is few articles about this. Let me show you. First of all, there is an article from, let me see, there is a video about this. Yeah, how to use the color checker passport in Capture One. That's the first thing. And also there is I think there shall be a pretty nice article as well about using this. Yeah. Creating camera profiles for Capture One. Here you will also find some useful tips on this, but in general, as I understand, using color checker particularly with Capture One is not the best option. I more recommended to use this, to use the things which are described in this in these videos. Edward is asking, hi Alex, thank you for these videos. I would be happy to see a dedicated video for very contrasty scenes, almost HDR, as I usually have troubles with halos. Hopefully you will find it an interesting topic. Thank you very much, Eduardo. You know, previously I received like the comment that like, oh, you know, I have suggested you like the idea for your video and I don't see this video, and I haven't seen this this video after this. Well, that's okay. I have my own plan of the videos, but your ideas is really important to me because they are giving me understanding which topics I shall prioritize. And which of them I shall maybe leave for the better time. That's why thank you very much for your ideas, seriously. Another one question from Black to White. I still have Capture One 10. I understand film styles is only for 11, correct? No, that's not the correct. The point is that if you will go to our onestyles.pro page, and for example the description of the original set or extended set, that's not really important, you will see this image. Original film styles are compatible with all the version of Capture One starting from Capture One 6. The feature of Capture One 11 version of the styles is that they are able to work in layers, because that's the general feature of Capture One 11, but you can use it in Capture One 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and also you can use it with Capture One 10 for Sony or other versions for Sony, including Capture One 11 Pro for Sony. Express for Sony is not supported by our styles. In general, they would work with Express version, but some of the styles would work not really correct, because Express for Sony simply doesn't support some specific tools which our styles are using. And the same thing with extended set. You can use it from all the versions of Capture One starting from Capture One 8, because extended set is also using some specific tools which weren't available before Capture One 8. Let me see what we have else. Yeah, okay, I think I have answered to all of your questions, I hope. That's why I just will remind you that you can always save 10% on your Capture One license, and you can also subscribe to my free new newsletter, and you will receive pretty huge amount of exclusive and interesting information about Capture One. I think the next live show will be held on the next Thursday. I think for a while we will run shows on Thursdays. That's just it's just the reason is my shooting schedule. That's why we will run it on Thursdays. I hope that is okay for you. And thank you very much for being there. I'm really happy that with each new show, I see more people online, and we're starting having like a great conversations with you. I think it's pretty awesome. I think this is the feature of live shows, and I'm really enjoying this. And I hope you're enjoying too. Okay, see you next Thursday. Thank you very much. Bye. Take care.